Hey guys, Romie here. Please like, comment, subscribe if you're a first time viewer, and if you're a returning viewer, thank you very much. Please like and comment on this video. This is my recap, my review for Big Brother Big Brother 18, episode 36. Now, this episode starts off with, of course, the HOH being Victor. He nominated two people. Who did he nominate? James and Natalie. And so Victor's just like, James, you tried to get me out, and Natalie, you're collateral damage, and actually we don't have that much of a relationship anyway, so it's not like it even matters. So we get past that. Now, here's the thing. Listen to this.
For a second.
Okay, what did you want to adultly talk about?
If I should feel guilty.
No.
There we go. Now, here's the thing with Nicole. Nicole is concerned that she's, she's gonna look like such a villain, look like such a bad person for voting out James because he's such a good guy. I'm thinking, this is a game. This is a game. James has had a lot of prime opportunity to go and stand up for something. He stood up for barely anything. So let's be real. James, he can get America's favorite player if that's what America, the average viewer wants, but that's not what I want. I don't, because I feel like James made a lot of wishy-washy type of moves, and not even moves that I can respect. But what I will say is that Natalie has shown her true colors, which I had an inkling this is what was going to come out of her. I'm just disappointed that it's actually come to fruition. Now, while James and Natalie are sitting around the table, Paul walks by, and he overhears Natalie just like, well, it's fun that we're on the block together. I'm thinking, in the history of Big Brother, with all the couples and showmances, they're usually distraught and crying. Here goes Natalie trying to be upbeat. Now, I don't know if it was just to keep James' spirits up, to psych her own self out, but why would you go and verbally say in the common area, oh, it's going to be fun, the both of us being on the block together? Paul runs and takes that information, and he tells Victor and Victor and Nicole and Corey, and she's just like, look, something's very sketchy about Natalie. The fact that she even said that, it makes it seem like that, oh, she must think that she's safe, that she's secure. Now, the main issue right now is going on is that James and Natalie are on the outs, kind of on the outs, initially on the verge of being on the outs, because of the fact that Natalie keeps saying how, because of James, and James wanting to trust Nicole and Corey, that now they're on the block. Natalie, it's not that you're wrong, it's just that you don't need to consistently say this. You don't need to consistently say this. When you're on the block, less is more, which means right now, you're kicking yourself right in the butt because of you doing all this. Blah, 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 blah. So Natalie decides she wants to go upstairs and asks for orange juice, even though there's orange juice in the fridge, and talk to Victor and Paul. Now, her conversation is basically like, I apologize. I apologize for putting you up. It wasn't the right move. It wasn't the best move. It wasn't the smartest move. It was my fault. And I take ownership of it. It's just like, I can't believe I trusted James. And, I'm sorry. And it is what it is. Thank you. Goodbye. Now, mind you, as soon as she leaves, Paul and Victor both had the same look and reaction that I had. Like, are you kidding me, Natalie? You threw the guy who's throwing himself under the bus to protect you under the bus too. Basically, it's like you took a Mack truck and a bus, you combined it, called it a cruise ship, and demolished James. And then took a tornado and fire and burned everything else. cut even smaller and burned everything else. Lord. Natalie, that was one of the most unloyal, basic things that you've ever done in this house. That gameplay definitely isn't going to be respected by people like this season. This season is filled with people who think they have a lot more honor than they actually do. And so you have to play up to that. You can't go and do something disloyal like that. That's not what's going to garner you love and respect from them. So when she goes back downstairs, Paul signals Nicole and Corey to come up, and he tells them what she did. It's just like, yo, how is she being disloyal already before the veto? She goes down to James and tells an edited version of the story. Now, mind you, let's give Natalie a partial credit. Maybe Natalie was just more so trying to say, oh, well, if I didn't trust James, Natalie knew what she was doing. We need to stop acting like Natalie's dumb. Natalie's not dumb. She knows exactly what she's doing, just like Corey. Corey is playing the dumb guy. Corey isn't dumb. There's a lot of people who naturally come off ditzy. Corey is one of them. Natalie is a close second. When you go and have them playing competitions and do certain things, that's when it's like, wait a minute, who is this person? Because this is part of their personality, a little bit of a play on of an act. So now we have MacGyver. That's the new show that's coming on CBS. So as you know, every season when a new show, it's pilot season, they use Big Brother to help launch it when it's going to be a big budget show. I think last season they actually did Scorpion, and I enjoy Scorpion, so I'll give MacGyver a chance. It comes on September 23rd, whatever. I'm assuming at 9, 8 Central. Now, I was nervous. I was very nervous because we had Natalie go first in the veto competition. It's this competition where the first room, again, you have to escape the room. So there's 3 rooms. The first room is where you have to go, and on the wall there's these pipes. These pipes are shaped, one is going to be shaped like a circle, the other one's going to be shaped as a square. On the bottom, you take that and you unscrew the screws, and then you go into the manhole. And of course, production has the extra effects going and the camera shaking and all of that to give it more dramatic effect. Natalie does really well that first one. Then she gets to, you have to find the key. In finding the key, you go in the locker. In the locker, there's going to be wire. There's also going to be chains. You're going to hold on to the chain. You're going to wrap the wire around the chain to get the key that's in the ground. It's basically like in a well. A well? What does a well need? Water, because the key will float. So now you have to direct that water that's in the water tank. You can see that there's only a certain amount of water in that water tank, so you have to use it wisely, but also quickly. And there's a long tube, cylinder thing, it's open, that you use to direct the water. I'm thinking, wait a minute, has Natalie been throwing competitions? I know that James has been throwing competitions, but Natalie plays too much because she all of a sudden gets good and gets this accuracy. I'm like, this chick. And then I started to think about it, the past competitions that she would play. And she was never bad in them. She just didn't win them. That's all. She just didn't win them. That's the difference. The people are still in the house were the only reasons why she didn't win them. I'm thinking, Lord Jesus, has Natalie been playing this whole time? No. Been playing maybe some of the less informed people, but I already knew what Natalie's game was. And the third competition was you had to go and you had to step on the plank. Well, step on a plank-esque so that you could launch the ball, well, you know, a plutonium into the plant. And so by then, you'll stop it from exploding, you'll win. Natalie got it on the 3rd try. And of course, when you go back into the HOH room, because she officially got the power veto, there's pizza and more MacGyver marketing and promotions. Next person up is Nicole. Nicole takes forever, mind you, just to get through the first room, because Nicole's like, Lord Jesus, where's what the cylinder? She didn't realize it took her so long just to deal with the figure out, oh, the pipes are on the wall, and then she used up most of her time looking for the key and how she was going to maneuver the key and all of that. It's just like, oh, the tank, the water tank. It's like, oh, the cylinder. And so it blows up on her before she can even finish. Next person up is Victor. Victor powers through the first one. The second one, he gets through it. The third one is where he falters because he took too much time in the first 2 where it didn't give him much time to perfect his accuracy for the third one. So he blows up. Next person is James. And James, if we didn't know that he really wasn't fighting for his life or Natalie's life, you would have thought that he threw the competition. The first one, he got through okay. By the time he got into the second one, he flopped because he thought kind of like what I would have initially thought. I just wouldn't have spent as much time on it, which is maybe it's the key is in the water tank or something like that, causing him to use up all of his time. Next person up is Corey. Corey goes, he powers through it. He takes like 2 minutes on each section. And of course, that means he officially wins the power veto. Nicole's saying how, you know, for a mental comp like this, I wouldn't think Corey would do a good job. I'm thinking, Nicole, you and James underestimate these people as if they're dumb. They're not dumb. They're not crybabies. They're not. As long as they're calm, they're good. If you realize that, as long as they're calm and they actually want to win, they're good. It's just that if Natalie was on a different season, she'd actually be a really strong competitor in the competitions for the girls. She would be. Do not say that I'm wrong, because I know I'm not. I know that if this was a different season and the people who normally won competitions were out by now, she'd be winning them, because she's always close. She's never mediocre. It's just that production makes it seem that way, but that's not the case. And of course, Paul, he doesn't do well, so there's that. Now, with Corey being the official winner of the veto, Victor's happy. Victor's happy because Victor's thinking, all right, great. Now I don't have to get any blood on my hands. It's perfect. Corey's not going to use it. Paul's ecstatic. But now they're starting to think, you know, maybe Natalie has been throwing competitions. Maybe Natalie has been acting, and like I can see maybe sometimes her attitude and how she reacts and how she does certain things, but you can't tell me that this girl hasn't been playing us this whole time, because she's not bad at competitions. She's actually one of the best in competitions. It's just that she doesn't end up winning them. And also this hyper-focused, that competition was hard. How is she just power through it on the first... What I've been trying to say. And anyway, Corey and James are talking, and James is basically trying to throw himself on the bus. And Corey's just like, dude, don't worry about it. You're good. I'm thinking, Corey, shut up. Your mind's not supposed to be made up yet. Shut up. She said, no, you're good. You're good. Corey, be quiet. Be quiet. It was just like, don't worry about it. This is like, what do you mean don't worry about it? So James is nervous and thinking, yeah, I just talked with Corey and I'm not sure if you're safe. Of course, now Natalie's thinking, oh, so you talked with Corey and now all of a sudden I'm possibly not safe. James, don't ever talk to me in your life ever again if I find out that you've been working with them. That's all I have to say. And also it's like, oh, you have a nasty attitude. I don't care how bubbly you are, or how bubbly you want us to believe. So that's the attitude we've been hearing about all season. Okay, I see it. I see you. I understand you're frustrated with James because you feel like he put you in this predicament. It's okay. Now, Paul and Victor are talking because they're thinking maybe they can wrangle in James and get him to go. And if they were to keep James, if they made sure that they looked like they had James back, and if James won HOH next week, they would be safe. Again, smart move. They've been playing both sides of the house this whole time. And I know Paul has been more so the person who's been masterminding this than Victor. So now they bring in James, and they let it be known that Natalie threw you under the bus. Natalie said that, and not even basically, but Natalie said, you know, if it weren't for James and him advising me or telling me to go and do this, then I wouldn't be up here. It's just like, gosh, I shouldn't have listened to him. I shouldn't have put my game in him. I shouldn't have trusted him. Natalie said all of that without saying any of that. So, and they were right. They weren't lying. They haven't had to lie, really, this whole season, to be honest with you. And the thing is that James is distraught because he knows they're not playing him. So he goes downstairs, and he's speechless because he's like, I almost threw my game away. I almost threw my daughter's chance of having an even better life for this girl who's thrown me under the bus. Now, it's time for the veto ceremony. And, of course, Natalie's just like, please use it on me. If you use it on James, that's even better. Now, mind you, when Natalie was talking to Victor and Paul, Natalie's voice sounded like how mine does right now. Like, there was no, an inflection. It was, look, so this is what happened. I was like, what? Who's that? Who's that chick? Anyway, James was just saying his speech was definitely more so, love this girl, appreciate this girl. Don't use it on me, use it on her. It's my fault that the tables have turned. It's my fault that, Victor, you got kicked out of the house. I advised her, so I'm not going to go and throw her under the bus. You should have seen Victor and Paul's face like, yeah, that's what you should have said. That's what you should have said, Natalie. So anyway, Corey doesn't use the power veto. So now it's game time because James finally has woken back up and it's like, I have to play this game for me. So we'll see how this goes. And it looks like, oh yeah, I almost did a spoiler alert. Please like, comment, subscribe. Come back tomorrow.